Hi, Scott Abley here, Training Manager at Travis Industries. I'd like to welcome you here to this video on the Universal Cool Wall Side Vent Kit. Joining me today I have
Dustin Chaplin, Product Designer here at Travis.
So we're gonna double team this and talk about this exciting new kit that deals with our CoolSmart technology. So you guys are familiar with our CoolSmart. We've got one shown right here. This is the one that we've had for several years now, and what its purpose is. And what does the CoolSmart really do for us, Dustin?
What it does is it gives us the ability to direct the heat off of the front of the appliance, your standard convection heat, and it raises it up off the wall, so that way you can install a TV right above the fireplace. You can reduce your mantle clearances, as well as you can reduce your non-combustible requirements depending on the unit.
So the first question that always comes up has to do with the fan, right? So what's the interaction between the CoolSmart and the fan, and do you have to have it? Do you not have to have it? Sort of talk to me about that relationship.
So depending on the appliance, whether the unit has a fan installed or not, the CoolSmart can be installed, the fan can be used, it can be used on all speeds and all levels.
So, but the CoolSmart kit you're not required to have electricity for it to work. It's a passive system.
Correct, it is pure natural convection.
Okay, so because that does come up in question sometimes with the CoolSmart, and as we start talking about this new kit, just want to make sure that we're clear on that this technology, right, what we've developed does not require electricity. So it's not going to affect, yes, you can still have a TV there, you're not going to damage it by running your fireplace. If you have the Cool Wall kit, that's all true.
Correct.
And then the fan is there to help direct more of the heat away from the fireplace in the room.
Absolutely.
Because you're not driving any of the blower fan air through this. This is all passive.
No, your blower air is still coming out through the convection chamber from the fireplace, and your passive cooling is still coming out the top through your CoolSmart heat vent.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, thanks. So this is the one we've had for several years now. What we're going to introduce today is our side vent.
Yes.
And so basically we've taken this one long vent, maybe the design of your fireplace, you want to have a little bit cleaner look, you don't want to see that grill on the front. So now we've taken that same grill, basically divided it into these two side vent kits and give you the ability to do that instead.
Correct.
So which fireplaces is this compatible on?
Anything that is currently compatible with a CoolSmart kit, from your ProBuilder Clean Face line, your 24, 36, and 42, your ProBuilder Linear line, your 42, 54, and 72, all of our HO linears, 36, 44, 60, 564 series, both 25K, 35K, as well as our 864, 31K, and 40Ks.
So basically everything.
Essentially everything.
It might have been a better list to say what it's not, but it seems like it's actually all of our gas appliances.
Nearly all of them, yes.
Okay. So pay attention to the installation manual. I mean, we'll have compatibility like in the price lists. If the kit's available for it, it'll be there in the price list with that unit.
Correct.
So we've got the kit laid out here in front of us. Sort of tell me what we're looking at.
So the nice thing about this kit that's a little bit different than our existing Cool Wall kits, where we have 3 different width sizes depending on your unit or how many ducts are required to direct the right amount of heat. This one kit works for all of our units. So you have essentially 2 registers, 6 ducts, 12 collars, 2 grills, and an instruction sheet. And what that does is that gives you the ability to run 1 duct on each grill, 2 or 3 duct depending on the size of the appliance.
So bigger appliances, let's say like a 72 ProBuilder Linear, would use all 6.
Correct. That would use the full kit. And then as you go down in size from a 4-duct system to a 2-duct system, say on the 24 ProBuilder, you will use less and less parts.
Right. So for example, we've got a 54 ProBuilder Linear here, and we would have, on this one, we'd have 4 ducts. And so the idea would be that you would use 2 on this one and 2 on this one, and there'd be some parts left over.
Yes.
So how does that happen? How do you sort of customize that grill for the different ducts?
So each grill, each register has 3 separate knockouts in it. You have 2 on the bottom and 1 on the back. Any combination of back or bottom can be used as long as all clearances are met. So depending on the unit, you will knock out either 1, 2, or 3 knockouts, install your starter collars, seal those up, and then run your venting.
So it's a complete kit.
Absolutely.
Doesn't matter if it's compatible for the unit, all the parts are here that you need to make it work.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, let's see, what else is there? Oh, you mentioned the covers. So we provide 2 covers.
Yes.
But you can use other covers if you want to?
Any decorative 12 by 6 inch return air grill, as long as they're steel, can be used. One limitation on that is there must be a minimum of 45 square inches of free airspace. And as you look at decorative grills that are in the market, the majority will list their free air opening to tell you essentially how much air will flow through them. So the 45 inch is a minimum call out. Past that, anywhere above that is fine. But that's something that does need to be taken into consideration.
Yeah, I suspect most of the grills that are decorative actually probably have more space.
Absolutely.
Because they'll have some filigree or they'll have something that's a bit more decorative, and they're actually more open than that grill. So they
Yes.
should be, in theory, they should be good. But that call out should be on the.
It is it's on the register, as well as the call out is in the instruction manual for the CoolSmart kit.
Okay, so. We've got a nice setup here. We're showing a couple different options. Where can this be installed? We talk about being a sidewall installation, but sort of go walk through that for me. Where can it be? Where can it go?
So really, that can be installed in the front of the unit. It can be installed on the side, or it can be installed on the back of the appliance, depending on how it's installed. So say if you have a little bit more of a modern home, a little more contemporary living space, to where you have essentially a island fireplace to where the entire chase assembly is freestanding, that discharge, either front, side, or rear, can be done as long as it's in the same conditioned airspace.
So basically the same room. So if the fireplace was like a room divider, that's what you're talking about, like an island, maybe it's between like a living room and a dining room or something like that, the duct could be anywhere on that chase.
Absolutely, but if it's a divider wall, say between a living room and a bedroom, the discharge must be in the same airspace. So if the fireplace is getting its convection air from the living room, the discharge must be in the living room as well.
That makes sense. Are there some things that we should look for, like when we go to install that sidewall kit, or some things we should look for in framing and stuff like that we really need to pay attention to, especially as we look through the manual?
So similarly to the existing front mount, the horizontal CoolSmart kits, there are some framing differences that need to be taken into consideration. One thing is the framing depth. The CoolSmart kit itself has a minimum framing depth, I think, of about 14 inches. So depending on the appliance, the unit framing depth may change. And that's very similar to the framing width for the existing horizontal cool wall kit. So pay attention to the instructions, pay attention to the manuals as well.
Yeah, so like on this linear, I think the framing depth is like 15 inches. So when you add the cool wall kit, we need to change that to 17 inches. I think is what the call
Correct,
is.
depending on how everything is framed. Absolutely.
Right. So pay attention. One thing that I noticed, because I did the installation here, one thing I noticed is you really have to pay attention to the clearances of this box. It's a heating surface, and so the clearances to the box are
1.25 inches all the way around.
Right. So 1.25 inches. That's 1.25 inches to the sides, back, bottom. So really pay attention, especially when you're going to go frame that in. Some of your framing members might come into that space. You might have to notch them. You might have to change the framing, add more depth. Just really pay attention to what's in the manual. That'll steer you in the right direction.
Absolutely.
All right. So, gosh, I think we've about covered it all. We talked about clearances, mantles, just sort of a refresher on CoolSmart with mantles. I mean, we talked about TVs a little bit, but then sort of where does the mantle play into this?
So regardless of it's the front mount CoolSmart kit, if it's our universal side mount, the reduced mantle clearances are exactly the same. So depending on the appliance, we have reduced mantle clearances. We also have reduced combustible or non-combustible clearances, and the option on some appliances to have a combustible overfacing. And that's exactly the same install parameters if it's a front mount cool wall kit or the side mount as well.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think that pretty much covers it. You know, if you have any questions, you guys can always, go to our website, look up information there. You can call us here at the factory, talk to our tech department. We'll be happy to answer any questions you have about this sidewall kit, about the cool wall, technology just in general. If there's any of those kinds of questions, installation, again, for Dustin and myself, we'd like to thank you for taking the time. And until next time, we'll see you later.
Thank you.